Into the channel. Eriksen just trying to get through the thrower, but he was already on his way.
Football players all over the world are living the good life. They enjoy playing in front of crowds of thousands of adoring fans, make lots of money, and enjoy a lavish lifestyle. But not everything that glitters is gold. Their fast-paced lives can sometimes lead to brushes with death. Today, we will be talking about football players that were almost killed. Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen is a midfielder who's played for Tottenham, Inter Milan, and his Danish national team. Last year, while playing for Denmark in the Euros, disaster struck Eriksen. Footballers are elite athletes in excellent health, so no one expected when Eriksen suddenly collapsed on the pitch. Midway through the game, the star athlete clutched his chest and fell to the ground. A teammate of his immediately rushed to his side and began CPR, while the team's medical staff rushed to his side. Eriksen was rushed to a nearby hospital where it was found he had suffered a cardiac arrest. Miraculously, Christian was able to make a full recovery and make it back onto the football pitch this past season, playing for London club Brentford. Neymar. Neymar is one of the most electrifying players in football. He's an international superstar whose transfer fee from Barcelona to PSG of $220 million is still the most expensive crossover ever. When you're a star who has that kind of money, you tend to buy the most expensive things you can find. When he was at Barcelona, he decided to treat himself to a bright red Ferrari Spider. The Spider has 661 horsepower and goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3.1 seconds. One day, Neymar decided to take his new toy to practice at Barcelona, driving fast down the Catalan streets in the rain. Neymar had a serious crash that completely destroyed his car. Luckily for Neymar, he wasn't injured at all and was still able to go to practice. He can also still afford to buy a new one if he isn't too afraid. Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero set the Premier League on fire, helping Manchester City win their first Premier League in May 2012, with a goal that will go down in history as one of the best ever. For the next decade, he terrorized defenses across Europe before finally moving to Barcelona. A top athlete at the top of his game, Aguero was the picture of health. Sadly, on the inside, things weren't so good. Doctors discovered he had a heart arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat, and told him that if he didn't change things, he would die. With a wife and family, Aguero decided to hang up his boots and retire from football in order to stay healthy for his family. Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo is arguably the most famous player on the planet, in the universe ever. At 37 years old, he's still an incredibly fast player, capable of scoring goals whenever he wants. Back in 2009, he was at his peak speed, both on and off the pitch. Ronaldo's speed on the pitch couldn't be matched, and he won his first Ballon d'Or that year while playing for Manchester United. Off the pitch, he was known for driving fast cars throughout Manchester. One day in 2009, he was cruising around in one of his supercars when he lost control and crashed. Thanks to his excellent health and the safety of the car, he was spared his life, but sadly, his car was not. Iker Casillas. Iker Casillas is the most famous goalkeeper in all of Spanish history. He won 2 World Cups and the Euros with the Spanish national team, and also the Champions League and La Liga titles with his club Real Madrid. Later in his career, in 2019, Casillas was playing in Portugal for FC Porto. During a training session, the legendary keeper suffered a heart attack. He dropped to the pitch, clutching his chest as teammates and medical staff rushed to his aid. He was taken to the hospital where he was kept for 5 days and luckily suffered no long-term effects. In a recent documentary, Casillas described the feeling of the heart attack as like drowning. Terrifying stuff. Petr Cech. Legendary Chelsea and Czech Republic goalkeeper Petr Cech was well known for 2 things: his outstanding play between the sticks and his iconic helmet he wore during games. To need that helmet, he had to almost die. On October 14, 2006, Chelsea traveled to newly promoted Reading for a Premier League game and a match that would ultimately change Cech's life. Within the first minute of the game, a ball was played into the Chelsea box, and being the brave keeper he was, Cech ran out to get the ball. As he slid to gather the ball, a Reading player ran through the box and kicked Cech in the head. This kick left Cech in a daze, and he was rushed to a nearby hospital where it was found he had a depressed skull fracture. For days, Cech went in and out of consciousness and couldn't remember where he was. Luckily, with the help of excellent doctors and a supportive family, Cech was back on the field sporting his new iconic helmet after just 3 months. Raul Jimenez. English Premier League football isn't known for its players wearing helmets, but maybe it should be. The next player suffered an even more gruesome head injury than Petr Cech. Wolverhampton Wanderers and Mexican striker Raul Jimenez also suffered a head injury in the box, except he was trying to score score a goal, not save one like Cech. Wolves traveled to the Emirates Stadium in November 2020 for a match against Arsenal. Wolves earned a corner kick early in the game, and Jimenez lined up to try and score from the kick like he always did. Moments later, he was lying completely still on the pitch after a collision with Arsenal defender David Luiz. Fans and coaches still remember the moment, and the sound from the clash clearly to this day. Wolves' medical team rushed to the pitch to give him oxygen before taking him to the hospital where he had surgery for a skull fracture. Despite the terrifying moment, Jimenez never lost faith that he'd play again, and after 8 months of recovery, he was back playing for Wolves. Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is known all over the world for his talismanic play. At only 5 feet 7 inches, he's not known for his aerial play, but rather his immaculate control of the ball close to the ground. Opponents all over the world have struggled for years to take the ball off his feet, normally unsuccessfully. But in a Champions League match against Juventus, it was his head, not his feet, that almost cost him his life. Barcelona was down on aggregate goals during the second leg of their 2 games against Juventus, so you know Messi was going to go all out to try to win. Towards the end of the first half, with the score tied at 0-0, Messi flew in the air near midfield to try and win a 50-50 ball and landed back on the ground hard, on his neck. He was able to walk off the field under his own power, but was unable to finish the match. Later, after looking at x-rays, doctors concluded that if he had landed just 2.7 millimeters higher on his head, his neck would have snapped and he'd have died. David Beckham. Nowadays, David Beckham is loved by fans all over the world. He was a legendary player for Manchester United, Real Madrid, AC Milan, and LA Galaxy, and was one of the most magical midfielders to ever play the game. However, it wasn't his club play that almost got him killed. It was a game for his home nation of England that almost cost him his life. It was the 1998 World Cup, and England had a loaded squad, looking to take home the title for the first time since 1966. In a game against Argentina, Beckham got a red card, which took him out of the match, and the following one as well. Without their best player, England floundered and was knocked out of the World Cup. English fans everywhere put the blame on Beckham, and for months, neither he nor his family would go out in public for fear of their lives. He received multiple death threats and ended up leaving England after the 1999 Premier League season. Angel Di Maria. While soccer players may sometimes live dangerous lives both on and off the field, their families aren't always safe either. In March 2021, Angel Di Maria was playing a game for PSG when out of nowhere, he had to be subbed out of the game. Fans all over were confused why he had to leave, because both he and the team were playing well. It turns out the robbers had broken into his home and held his wife and daughters at gunpoint. Di Maria had to be escorted out of the stadium to try and protect his family. The robbers fled before police could catch him, and his family were unharmed, but Di Maria sold that house shortly after. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content.